Greetings from Boise, Idaho.
Idaho.
My name is George. This is my beautiful wife, Valeria. And we're so excited and just honored to serve a part of the TNT in the Midwest.
Yes.
You know, for today's Quiet Time packet, the topic we've really been given, for the charge, is the topic of being thorough.
Yes.
Let's go to our scripture. In 2 Timothy chapter 2, in verse 2. And it says this: "And the things you've heard me say in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others." Here we see Paul charging Timothy to look for specific type of people. And what types of people are those? Those who can be reliable. The word reliable, what it means in the Greek when translated, it means to be proven faithful in business, in execution of commands, and the discharge of official duties. I mean, it's so incredible to be a part of the Midwest here for TNT. Why? Because God has given us an incredible team who's just really filled with reliable disciples.
Amen.
Who are just excited to serve and love God. You know, let us look at an example of not only being reliable, but really an example of being thorough. Let's go to Luke 15, verse 8 to 10. Luke 15, verse 8 to 10. And it says this. This is the parable of the lost coin. "Or suppose a woman has a 10 silver coins, and loses one. Doesn't she light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she calls her friends and neighbors together and says, 'Rejoice with me, I have found my lost coin.' In the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents." Here we see an example of being thorough. You know, Jesus is giving an example in the parable of a lost coin.
Yeah.
We see this woman who had 10 silver coins, and she loses one of them. And what does she do? Whatever it takes to find it.
Yeah.
You know, she lights a lamp to probably look into places that you probably wouldn't even expect. She sweeps the house. She sweeps the house. And after that, what does she do? She searches carefully until she finds it. We got to learn to understand a big part of being thorough is really bringing things into completion. I'm going to pass it over to my wife, Valeria.
Awesome. Well, good morning to everyone. I hope we're having a great time in our scriptures and in prayer this morning. I just love this example with the woman that sweeps her house. She gets her lamp ready. She does whatever it takes to find that lost coin. And it really just reminds me of the opportunity that we have here at the tent to be very, very thorough. Number one, we get to be thorough with everything that God has entrusted us. I think that is so, so meaningful because how thorough we are with the things that God gives us shows us how much care we have for them. That's a great question I want to ask all of us to ask ourselves. How much do I care about the very specific role that God gave me? Some of us are helpers, some of us are tent leaders, some of us are region leaders, some of us have the register, some of us are charged with putting up signs. Every task is so meaningful to God, and proof is that we're chosen to do it. God only gives us tasks that are very important to him, and so we get to be orderly, just like the woman. We can put our schedules in line with how much we care for these things. We put our goals, our deadlines in line with how much we care for these things. And this is just that example of her sweeping the house to get ready to be thorough. The next part is she searches thoroughly, very, very carefully. We search because we care. Once we have all these things lined up for us, our schedule, our goals, our deadlines, I think it's so important that we're able to be detail oriented. And some of us are really great at this, and some of us can work on it or learn from other disciples. But I personally, I love being very detail oriented, and I love that I get to have a partnership with my husband and sisters. We get to have, or brothers if you're detail oriented, we get to bring this to as a gift to the tents. And so I really want to encourage us to embrace being detail oriented, and giving those that have that strength the opportunity to shine in this way, and the opportunity to serve in this way in our tents. I think it's so important also that we're detail oriented with our hearts and our spirits. Every day are we having these kinds of prayers where we deal with everything that goes on. The tents are such a great time because they bring things out of us, our hearts that are deep waters, but it's beautiful because we get to be discipled. We get to disciple each other, bring these things up in our quiet times, bring these things up to our leaders, even at the tents, and therefore God gets to find us wherever we are. If our heart's strayed a bit, he gets to find us. We get to be back with the rest of the disciples and have a blast doing it. I think that is so huge. We get to have joy when we're thorough, just like the woman.
So just to recap, we want to be like the woman. What does that mean? Is we want to light a lamp. We want to expect the unexpected. Look in the places we probably wouldn't expect. And what does that mean for us is we got to have surrendered hearts for whatever happens. We got to sweep the house. What does that mean is we got to be orderly in the way that we handle things. It's really hard to be thorough if you're not orderly. And lastly is we got to search until we find it. What does that mean? A big part of being thorough is persevering. We got to persevere through all the challenges and tasks that God has given us through TNT. But most of all, always persevere in our relationship with God. Yes. I'm super excited just to see all the things that God's going to do, just not only with us, but also through us here at this fundraiser. Thank you so much, family, and we love you.